Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jay Myrax. And yeah, my background looks kind of crazy right now. Those are chickens back there. But yeah, today I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about what I want to refer to it as the insanity of beat making. And the reason I say the insanity of beat making is because the process of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is what is considered by definition as insanity. So as beat makers and even music producers to a degree, but I would say more so with beat makers, there is a certain level of insanity that goes into the craft of beat making. And this has some negatives and positives. You know, one of the positive attributes of the insanity of beat making is that it happens to have a built-in mechanism of giving you practice, and it gives you a sense of consistency, which is important to have consistency and to be able to execute without having to really think really hard about what you're doing. Because the more you get the practice in, the more it becomes more of like a muscle memory thing. So when you go to create, it's very easy because you have a certain set of rituals and habits and behaviors that you've developed through the course of your practice. However, what I do notice also is that with beat making and music production, there can be some points where it becomes so much muscle memory that purpose gets lost. And it's important to understand that when you go into the studio to be creative or to do things that you would normally do in the studio, you want to have purpose as well. You don't want to just do things for the sake of muscle memory only. Because I know a lot of us get into the habit of going into the studio, making beats, and we want to make it fast as possible, and we want to be able to get to the finish line and have a whole lot of beats. But then the question is, what are all these beats for? Because a lot of us are not honest with ourselves. A lot of us are not really being honest and genuine to say that a lot of these beats that I'm making are practice. Because, you know, a lot of us that want to expand and go further into our music career also want to have the ability to turn these beats that we're making into a product. And in order to turn it into a product, there's a certain amount of discipline that you have to have in order to complete the process so that the things that you're creating turn into some sort of commercial good that you can sell if you want to sell it, or if you want to, you know, release it as a record, or whatever you want to do. Whatever your goal is, you have to have some discipline in order to get it from the point of an idea to a completed product. And it's important that you don't get so wrapped up into the habit of making music that you lose sight of your purpose of why you're making the music. Because a lot of us have hard drives full of beats that nobody will ever hear. And the reason is because the beats never had a real distinct purpose. Purpose could be like you're releasing an EP, or you're producing for a particular artist, or you're producing for yourself, or you're just going to have them for some type of commercial purpose, like you're going to use them for film and television, or you're going to use them for, you know, some type of sound design work. Whatever the case is, you got to have some sort of purpose with the music. You don't want to get into the habit of always going into the lab, making a whole bunch of ideas, whole bunch of skeletons, and not getting it to the point where it can actually become useful and bless other people. Because I know for a fact that a lot of producers have a lot of music on their hard drive that they don't want to show people yet, or they may show a select few people, but they know it's not ready for them to put into the world as their official contribution to the world and you know, their official expression of their artistic vision. So continue to have some intention behind what you're doing. It's very important that you have intention so that you don't spend a lot of your time in the insanity cycle of music production, because you can actually waste many years in the insanity cycle of music production if you don't have a purpose. You can look up and say, man, 5 years have passed by and I really haven't done anything but make a whole bunch of beats and maybe a couple of full-on productions that have been released. So you don't want to be in that cycle. So, you know, I want to encourage music producers to have vision, have a purpose, and execute. Have the discipline to execute. You got to get to a point where you lock out everything that's unnecessary to accomplishing your vision, and get to that point where you can just execute. And it's important to have some type of parameters on how you execute. And part of what I talk about in my ebook is how to set up parameters so that you can finish projects. Because with art, it's really easy to get caught up in the concept of it never being done. There's always things you can add to a music production. There's always things that you can do to so-called enhance it. But if you really want to get stuff done, you got to have discipline, and you have to put parameters and create some expectations for when the project is done so that you can actually complete it. All right, so again, you know, be on the lookout for the ebook. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, go to my website, www.ultrawest.com, and sign up for the newsletter so you can get some updates about the release of the upcoming ebook. We're entering the final stages of that, and then the videos will be coming shortly after that, probably a couple months after that. But sign up so that you can, you know, get some information about this, because I think there's a lot of us out here that could benefit from this whole idea of just knowing how to set boundaries, create focus, get rid of the stuff that's unnecessary, and just getting down to business. Because we all want to succeed. We all want to do the best art or music or whatever it is, whatever our craft is really. We all want to do it to the best of our abilities. But you have to have some discipline. So that's what I want to talk about today. Just having some discipline and not getting locked into this whole cycle of insanity that music production and beat making especially can create. All right, so, you know, I'm out here enjoying myself, but I just wanted to share my information with y'all, and hopefully it blesses some of y'all. I really hope it blesses all of you guys, and I hope that you guys are learning some stuff that, you know, this is stuff that I wish I would have known earlier on in the process, but I want to share it with you guys. So, all right, until next time, peace, and God bless y'all.